Nope. Family is an answer. What do they need in order to get opportunity to work?
Good
Education. If children aren't educated, they will never be able to do work that will get them out of poverty. They will be forced to live life from what we refer to here. I'll give you another idiom. Poverty means living from hand to mouth. Living from hand to mouth means that they don't have anything, so if they find something to eat, they immediately eat it because they know there's nothing, they're not going home to a meal. They're living in the moment because that's all they have. So we give them an opportunity to work. The way we do that is by offering them education. Education is key. When we were in Nepal last month, the classes were very different than they are here. It was a lot of young people because they have problems with unemployment there. There are not enough jobs for the young people. So the young people are coming to learn English so that they have an education that makes them more employable. So it's a different kind of a class over there. They're taking English, and we've had people like that in our classes here as well, that they've come to learn English so they can get better jobs. Education is key.
Teacher, from my opinion, someone have a less education, can have a lot of experience or expert or something, can get a good job, can be a successful person.
Yes, I agree. That experience, education is one thing. Experience. Experience in some things. There are some things that people can learn to do that will allow them to have good jobs. For example, you may not need as much of an education if you're going to be a farmer. That they don't have to necessarily go on to high school or college, but they need the experience in order to be an effective farmer. Right, they may be able to make money without getting the degrees from the university.
And you are the owner.
Yes, if you're the owner. But they still need an education in terms of, they need to have enough education that they know not to overbuy seed or to, if there's problems with pests in their crops, that they know how to deal with that they are able to research that. So they still need some education. They may not need as much as a doctor or a banker, but they still need some education, they need experience. They have special talents. So let's list jobs where you need experience more than you need education. Here are the jobs that require education. Jobs that require experience. Farmers. They require more experience than education for the most part. But you also need education to be a farmer. What else? What other jobs might you need that don't require a formal education? Let's say formal education, so a university or a high school. I'll give you an example. A carpenter. what they need is what we refer to is as an apprenticeship. I spelled that one really badly. Apprenticeship. What that means is they're learning from somebody who already knows how to do it. They're learning a trade or a craft. It's an apprenticeship. I think it's APP. APP. Apprenticeship. Apprenticeship means you are learning from somebody who has a skill. So it's people like carpenters, electricians, plumbers, are all jobs where you have an apprenticeship. Another job where you might get by without a formal education is construction. People who build things like roads and buildings, construction workers. So, if you look at that, one of the ways that you might solve world poverty, you have the government subsidize construction work, so that what the government does is they finance construction work, let's say building roads. And if they use the tax dollars to build roads, they're employing people that may not have a good education, but they can have a job that they can use, that they can support a family. So that's one way to address poverty. But then the question is, does the government have enough money to pay the construction workers to do the work that needs to be done? Okay. What are some of the other things that you need in order to get out of poverty?
Education.
Education, got that.
Education and experience together is the.
Yes, to get between the two, that's the road. That is the road out of poverty. So, how do we get people that are in areas where they have neither education or experience? The idea, I think, has to be that somehow we need to get education to the areas that in the world where education isn't available. Okay. Yes.
I just one more experience for training.
For training? Yeah. Training. And that's, again, if you want to get a skill, you get trained by people that know how to do those things. Or even things like, I don't know if anybody here has worked in a factory. Factory workers don't necessarily need an education. But they have to have the job, which means one of the other things you need is, in order to get people out of poverty, you need investment. somebody needs to be investing in the areas where there's poverty in order for people to have a place to go to work. So the question is, who's going to do the investing? And the answer to that is probably the people that have the money. So big corporations the global economy. We talk about that all the time in my country, because we had a lot of very large corporations that did a lot of big manufacturing. And I'd say probably, I'm going to guess and say maybe 20 years ago, a lot of our manufacturing jobs moved out of the United States. Many of them moved into China. Some of them moved here when we were on our field trip last week. I saw a lot of American companies with big factories here on the outside of the city. And those manufacturing jobs, it's a problem in the United States now, because now we don't have the jobs for the what we call unskilled workers. Unskilled means